39, drunk at disorderlies, 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 39, 39, 39, 39, 39, drunk at disorderlies. All right. Hey guys, welcome back to another installment, 39DD. I mean, you've been here this long. I'm sure you know kind of what's going on.
Yeah,
It's gonna be me talking some shit.
What up? What up? What up? We have a different vibe of the show here today because
we're missing one of our trifecta here.
Yeah, we're Sans Trevor Ketcheson. Sans Ketch.
That's it. One piece of the Triforce is not here.
He's not here. It's gonna be a different vibe. I miss him, but at the same time, I'm excited. Like, you know how when you're around your best friends, but then when one of them's gone, it's a little
you
like
talk
different
shit about
dynamic. Yeah, a little bit of that too. But I think we're recording this, so I think he's going to hear it at some point.
No, he won't. He doesn't watch this shit. I mean,
Trev, Ketcheson, viewers at home, we have lit a candle, and it's going to be here in lieu of Trevor Ketcheson. It's a memorial candle. He's not dead, but he's not here tonight. He's actually sunning it up right now in two ways. He's up in Wasaga Beach.
Nice.
Which is sunny, and also it's his mother owns a property up there, and he's up there helping her do some things around the property.
Fantastic.
So he's being a great son.
That's it. Well, we appreciate
that.
Hello,
guy, Trevor.
100%.
Man, seriously.
Here's to you, being a great guy in a resort community, helping your mom. I mean, that's just...
These people miss you.
If only.
Yeah. So we're doing it just with the two of us, so cheers.
Yeah.
It's going to be good.
Okay.
We just had a fantastic comedy show here at 1830.
Yeah, I heard that. Man, it was walls to walls.
Packed house. That's good. It was great. We had Liam Kelly, Rodrigo Fernando Stoll, and Mark Anthony Synagoga. And our good friend Lori Impiana, who's Laughing Viking regular and a 39 Drunken Disorderlies regular. You probably heard her voice. She made her stand-up comedy debut. So,
fantastic. Cheers to that.
Kudos to Lori for doing that. That's huge. Maybe this will be history. Like
that'd be cool. That'd be really cool.
Should be doing arenas in front of 20, 30,000 people, and she can remember that she did it here at 1830.
I'll shuffle my wheelchair and yell at her for the special disabled section. Hey!
Of course, shout out to the venue here, 1830 down at 9 Clarence Square.
You guys are always, keeping it real.
Join us on a Monday for the comedy show at 8 or the late show here, the 39 Drunken Disorderlies podcast.
Yeah, and we've got one of those rockaway crowds going for the late night tonight. It's just all I can see is smiling faces.
It's a barn burner in here.
Yeah,
they're a little quiet. Yeah, there's that guy. Jim Tubinator, our sound man from TW Features in the house. Of course, we got Karim from Cifer Pics, our AV guy, edits. If you're listening to this or watching it, it's because...
There's a very good chance you've seen his handiwork.
Right, yeah. Karim understands microphones. Oh, yeah, right?
Sorry, excuse me, yeah.
Microphones and cameras. So without you, this would just be us having a conversation that disappears into the ether forever.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No, the government's watching you.
Oh, right. Yeah. Me or you?
You.
You're watching me?
Well, I told them to.
Oh, okay. Cool.
And they were listening to me through my sync.
Sorry about last night, government. You saw some fucked up shit. Okay.
So you were telling me you did mushrooms on the weekend.
Yeah. And you were telling me that you wanted to speak of the largest drug deal that you were involved in. Yeah. So we can talk. Not that I honestly, I don't think I count mushrooms as a drug even.
Mushrooms is not particularly a drug, although you can treat them like one. I mean, I've done a lot of mushrooms, and it's stupid because sometimes they're great and sometimes they're terrifying.
Right.
And there's really no rhyme or reason. Like LSD is a little more controlled. I find that if you're really spazzed out, you can smoke a joint, sit back, ground and center. But because mushrooms is a toxicological response, when your body starts to recognize it's poison, like I actually made a bunch of my friends don't do mushrooms anymore because I can't. The minute I take mushrooms, I throw up.
You don't do mushrooms anymore?
I get sick. Aww. I get sick right away.
Really?
And that's because my body knows it's poison.
We can't do mushrooms together?
Well, it's been a while, so we'll see. We'll try it out.
You should come out of mushroom retirement.
The last time I did mushrooms actually was a mushroom tea, and it kind of was a surprise night. I was out. If my ex was here, it'd be funny because she'd be like, fuck you, I remember that night. I was supposed to come home at like 10. Went to my buddy's place, and she's like, oh, I'm making tea for everyone. I'm like, oh, nice, cool tea. And I guess I should have realized when she went tea that she meant something a little more than chamomile, right? But I wasn't really thinking about it. I was stoned and I was already kind of drunk. And she comes out and hands me this like big old dirty, like, you know, one of those like metal heated Starbucks kind of like, you know, travel cups, you know what I mean? Or not necessarily Starbucks, of course, because we don't want to copyright anything, like travel mug, you know, completely ubiquitous metal container for travel. Anyway, so I drank the whole fucking thing pretty quickly. Being like, oh, it's pretty good tea. It tastes familiar, but I'm not sure why. And there's honey in there. That's nice. And yada yada. And a few minutes later, she's like, so did everyone enjoy the mushroom tea? And I was like, fuck. I'm supposed to be home in 2 hours. That's not happening now. There's no chance. Like in 2 hours, I don't know where the fuck I'm going to be, but I'm certainly not going to be home. So yeah, 9.5 hours later, I finally managed to send a text message home being like, can't, home, tea, psilocybin. How I spelled psilocybin, that fucked, I'll never know, but that's the nature of the beast.
That's the thing about mushrooms. You really you can't do mushrooms without sort of planning ahead. You don't want to end up in a scenario like there's certain scenarios you don't want to be in on mushrooms.
Yeah.
I actually broke the rules. That I would say the two rules are don't do them with strangers, like you want to do them with friends, and generally you want to be indoors versus outdoors or not around
or the wilderness.
People. Well, that's what I mean.
Like sitting on a dock.
Oh, so that's what I meant. Generally outdoors. Did I say indoors? Yes. Sorry, I meant outdoors. Wilderness, 100%. Forest, camping in a meadow. That's the best.
My really close friend Jack, my brother Jack, I reference him a lot because he does these things that you just wouldn't believe when it comes to narcotics. He went to the dentist on 9 grams of mushrooms.
Wow, that's fucking. And psycho.
I was like, "You're that's going awful. Where?" He's like, "I gotta go. I have to go." I'm like, "Where do you have to go?" He's like, "I have to go to the dentist." I'm like, "Don't go." What? Just don't go. And he's like, why? I'm like, because there's no chance that's going to be a pleasant experience. Like literally absolutely no chance.
It's awful to begin with. I can't imagine being on mushrooms.
Well, apparently, see, he has this philosophy about intensity. The more intense an experience is, the better it is. Huh. And that's always, we've argued philosophically about that quite a few times. Been like, yeah, see, I can handle intensity if it's the right kind of intensity. But having some crazy dude drill my face while I'm completely tripped just does not strike me as the kind of intensity I'm looking for. You know? Like I want like the 3 hottest girls I know to have conversations with me. Or like I want to see a really amazing sunset, maybe a meteor shower, because that'd be intense. Certainly not sticking power tools in my mouth. Like that just strikes me as one of those things you avoid when you're high on mushrooms, right?
So I feel like I did it right. I'm actually, this is, I think I've done mushrooms 7, maybe 6, 7, 8 times ish, but I don't think I'd done them for about 5 years until now I'm on a 2-night mushroom streak. I had mushrooms Saturday and Sunday. Nice. A friend of mine made mushroom chocolates. They taste amazing. They were like delicious gourmet, like truffle chocolate, like rich, where you didn't even taste the mushroom.
That's one of the ways to go about it, for sure.
And I feel like I did it pretty solid. I just had one, and then I went for a walk to the beaches, and then when I got to the beaches, I ate the second one.
Yeah.
And then I was on the shore with my dog. I was watching the sunset, watching the waves roll in, watching like people in the park.
Oh, just mellowed, yeah.
Yeah, super mellow. It was the
for
best.
Sure, that's the way to go about it.
It was like the best night. And then I still had more. So that's the thing about mushrooms is I find once you do them, hello, welcome.
Hey.
Latecomers. And the birthday girl in the house. Yeah, happy birthday. Happy birthday. Rochelle, yes. And we're talking about mushrooms right now. So this is my 3rd night. If I did mushrooms tonight, this would be my 3rd night in a row doing mushrooms, but I ran out. But I find when I have them, like I just want to do, like now that I know that she has these chocolates, I'm like pretty sure I'm going to be doing mushrooms once a week. Like I just felt like for me, like booze, I can take or leave, like other hard, like no hard, I don't really do any hard drugs, weed and shrooms and booze, I guess. But I feel like it's a weird thing where it's like I feel at one, like you feel a oneness and a connectedness to nature and other people, but also a bit of a separation from everything in yourself a little bit. Like
I've also felt like I was going to be eaten by a bath mat.
that too.
So I'm not entirely certain that
Right.
that's always the experience.
Right. The opposite experience is the first time I ever did them. I did them with a bunch of strangers. I think I probably had about 3.5 grams. Like my buddy was just like, "Oh, you're not feeling it yet? Here, eat this one. Here, eat this one. You're not feeling anything? Eat this." Then we drank a bunch. Then I smoked a bunch of weed. Then I had the great idea of like, let's go to the bar, because I was a bar guy. So what I did on Saturday nights for the longest time was get wasted, go to the bar. So we were in Barrie, which I don't know anyone. So we go to a packed bar, the Queens on, I don't know if you've ever been to Barrie.
I have been, but I don't know the bar.
Called the Queens. Low ceilings, packed, sweaty as fuck. Just the worst environment that you could possibly
start peeking.
Oh, it was terrible. It was. I was there with my buddy Crazy Dave, much like Rob fucking Fowler. Crazy Dave is the buddy that introduced me to all that shit. Famously driving down the 401, he was with his brother one time, and they always had roadies. And his brother finished a roadie and threw it out the window, except the window was not rolled down. So he blasted the window and the bottle, but when you're going on the highway, it blasts in. So then all of a sudden they're covered in glass, beer bottles, and all the shit on the 401. And then they had to, it was his mother's car, so they had to explain. They were like, "Mom, what happened?" And he was like, "No, me and Darren were playing catch." And he threw one over my head. I digress, though. So
I guaranteed Mom was like, "Sure."
Yeah.
That's why the entire call smells like beer, failure, and my children's lies.
Right. So I convinced him to go to the bar. Like I'm all fucked up on mushrooms, but we got there, and there was a above average number of people with injuries somehow. Like there was a guy with a crutch, like a guy in a sling, a guy with a cast. Might have been one person in a wheelchair, one on crutches. And I started to see this, and then I got in this loop in my head that I was like, "Oh shit, was I in like a car accident and like everyone here has died or has horrible injuries and we're all dead in some limbo, but we're all partying because we don't realize that
we don't know
what's
up." Yeah.
Like
that movie Reeker.
Right. Where we're all just, and then people started to look like gross and like ghoulish and like goblin-y. Like my bartender kept coming over and she's like, "Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay?" And I'm like, "I don't am I okay?
No, I'm not okay.
You're freaking me out." People would come like partying. Like I was just kind of posting up at the bar, chugging water. Cause in my head, I'm like, okay, I know that humans drink water. And I also know that the more water I drink, the more I'll flush the mushrooms out. Like I was like, I want to be
Which,
dumb.
by the way, is completely not true.
It's not?
No.
Humans don't drink water, or I won't.
No, humans drink water, but the more water you drink, the psilocybin's already in your system. It plays itself out.
Right.
That's a complete misnomer. You need a chemical reagent to counteract it, and unfortunately, there isn't one.
In my head, I'm at the bar, and I'm like, "Dave, I just want to go home and go to bed on your couch and wake up tomorrow not on mushrooms." Like I was freaking out. Girls would be coming up to me at the bar and they're like, hey, how you doing? "Pretty good, except I'm pretty fucked up on mushrooms." And Dave's like, "You gotta stop telling people that you're on mushrooms." But I felt so fucked up that I felt that they were looking at me,
everyone's
being
watching
like,
me.
"What the fuck is wrong?"
It's called
with this
the
guy?
Fear.
So I had to justify. I was like, "Hey,
fear.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I'm on mushrooms though. If I seem weird," like it was that constant loop. I found myself like. I had to. I finally found
reset.
I was trying to find like an anchor because I'm like, do I exist? Am I even here? Have I died? Am I on Earth? Am I in the present time? And
Drug
space?
pro tip: carry a focus item.
Right.
Like something weird in your pocket that other people just wouldn't have.
Right.
And you're like, am I myself? Am I normal? Am I still here?
Is
this okay?
My focus. Finally, I found a TV and it was Sportsnet highlights, and I watched it and I was like, okay, yeah, I do know the Jays played the Yankees today. I was like, the Jays play. And then we finally got out of the bar, and my buddy was a bouncer, and he was outside, and I'm like, "Dwayne, oh my God, thank God you're here, because I know you, and if I know you, that means I'm in this current reality." And I was like super fucked up. But that was the first time. Every other, I don't want to, if you've never done mushrooms, I don't want to thwart you from doing it. Every other time has been amazing because I followed the rules of doing them outside, doing them with friends. And in a comfortable
the greatest mushroom fun game you can have if you really want to screw with yourself and your friends requires something very simple, inanimate object like a child's doll. It has to be something more like a teddy bear, doll. Raggedy Ann dolls and stuff work really well because they're freaky already. Right? They just kind of. Right. So what you do is you sit the doll in a chair and you all sit across the room. Now, somebody sits reasonably close to the doll. This is important. Then you turn the lights off. Right? After you've been looking at the doll for 10 minutes or so, you turn the lights off. And the person sitting close to the doll just adjusts the doll slightly, moves their arm, turns the tilt of their head a little bit, etc. In the dark, you're sitting there. Everyone reassembles their seats, turn the light back on. Now, this is a childish trick. You know that I'm the one who's been moving the doll because I'm sitting next to it. The problem is, it's dark, it's dark, it's dark. Lights come on, doll's moved, mushrooms take over. Right? You're like, oh, the doll's moving. And I'm sitting there going, no, it's not. But after a while, even the guy moving the doll's like, I don't remember if I moved it or not this time. Did I? So the 6th or 7th time, everyone's scared. Like, I'm like, and I moved it, right? But after a while, yeah, it gets to you. It really does. And if you really, really want to make people just sort of leap out of their skin, you pick it up and move it across there and put it right next to them. So it's just sitting on the chair or the couch next to them. They look over, there's no doll. Where does it go? And everyone does it at the same time. Everybody in the room, you can see them. The slow turn. And as soon as they see it, like, and it's weird. It's amazing because your mind will not accept that another human being is doing this to you. You're like, no, it's got to be paranormal. This is just possessed. Because you don't see it. You don't see me moving it. So there's no visual record. And mushrooms requires visual stimulus.
Yeah, it's almost like when you're sober, it's like the most likely scenario seems to be the scenario. But when you're on mushrooms, it's like if you do enough,
yes,
like,
the most absurd scenario must be the right one. Like Cthulhu is in the room with us, and that's why the furniture is moving. Like, all right, so let's kick into tonight's story.
Shift
on that
from
note,
mushrooms
on that
to
note,
drug deal.
So
yeah. Buckle up.
So this is great, actually. I like the intro there because it's about hallucinogens too. I used to peddle in an LSD blotter,
which means
it's just paper acid, like acid on blotter paper, right? Well, most people think of a hit of acid; they think of a single square of blotter paper.
Gotcha.
Well, it comes in sheets, and a sheet is 100 hits, and a book is 10 sheets.
So 1,000.
That's
total.
Right. Yeah. So
1,000. You had 1,000 hits of acid.
Actually, I had 5.
5,000?
Yeah. We cracked this insane deal with this girl from Southern California named Star. And the reason her name was Star was because she had a fucking big star tattooed on her face right here. And that was it. We knew her as Star. We cooked this deal through a friend of ours, and she's like, well, if you can meet me in Niagara Falls at this casino on this day, I'll sell you this deal. And the deal was literally worked out to something like 70 cents a hit for 5,000.
Street
value is about 5 to 8 a hit, dollars, not cents. So we were looking at like, we're going to make, 20 grand this weekend if we can pull this off. So none of us have a driver's license. So we pay this guy that we know to drive us to Montreal. And then from there, we pick up a friend of ours who drives us back to Niagara Falls. It was the weirdest thing.
You do know the shortest way is
absolutely. But our buddy who had a van wouldn't come and pick us up. We had to go to him.
Wow.
So we went to him, and then he drove us basically back. Oh, this whole story is stupid. Don't get me wrong. This is very dumb. We were drunk.
You should have cut that guy out right then and there.
Well, actually, we ended up cutting him out, and that's where the story ended up turning strange. So the whole thing's strange. So we drank our asses off the whole trip. We had a 60-pounder in the van. We're flying down the highway. I'm drinking out of this bottle. I look over, and there's the OPP right there. I'm just sort of slowly put the bottle back down beneath the window, and the guy looks over, but then he looks over, and those bottle inside. I'm just like, drive slower. Please obey the law. He's like, wow, what's going on? You want to do these lines off the fucking dashboard? I'm like, not right now. And I'm trying to keep my face as neutral as possible. Like, it's okay. I'm just some guy in this van. No problem, right? But I'm looking at this. He's staring at me like, something's going on in that van, but I don't know what it is. I'm just going to drive along right next to him until I find out. And I'm like, okay. Anyway, he pulls off. It was great. We're just paranoid. It was nothing.
I like how you said he offered to do lines off the dash, and you said, not right now. Like there's a good time to do coke off the dash of a car that you're driving. Right? That's the life of Bob, right
between
there.
rest
I never would have
stops.
thought of that. Yeah.
When there's not a lot of curves. I've also been holding the steering wheel while the driver's doing rails and encountered obstacles and nearly killed us all because I'm not really a driver. So I'm leaning over like this, holding the wheel, being like, hey, that's like a bridge. And there's kind of a turn on the bridge. He's like, so what, man? I'm like, we hit the little thing and the car goes towards the edge. I'm like, that's what's up right there. He's, I got the wheel and we're back in action. I'm like, yes, no one died today. And then I checked the speedometer and we're doing like 180. And I'm like, wow, you should probably lighten your foot up a little bit on this. Like, this is a van. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is not an F1 race car here. This guy just had his foot to the floor the entire trip. Right. Like, yeah, we're going to get there. Woo!
Because he was fired up on coke, yeah?
Mental patient. Mental
He was
patient.
just like, yeah, we're just going for a drive. I got lots of business ideas. We're going for a drive.
Yeah. Let me tell you my plan for world peace. So we get to Niagara Falls and we pull up in front of the casino, resort, hotel, whatever. And I immediately recognize this woman's car. It's the only car parked like on the sidewalk next to the casino. And it's a convertible that her license plate is Star. No joke. I'm like, I wonder if that's her car. But he's like, no, it can't be. I'm like, it has to be. This whole thing is so stupid. It absolutely has to be. And he's like, no. And then sure enough, absolutely, it was her car.
Was it a regular car? In my head, I'm picturing like one of those hippie vans.
No,
like
it was a convertible, like a flat top, old school, like I don't know what kind of car it was, a Chevy or something with no fucking. Yeah, it wasn't a Caddy. It wasn't that nice, but it was definitely like it was interesting.
Had she driven from California to Niagara Falls to do this deal?
Well, she'd been touring the northern states.
Okay.
Following the Grateful Dead.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And selling lots and lots of drugs on the way. And so we got this contact. That's why we had to be there that day because she wasn't going to be there longer. And the scam was that she had got all these math books, these math textbooks printed with LSD on certain pages.
Amazing.
So she could move them pretty much freely around. So we ended up buying 40 math books. and yeah. So we bought the stuff and someone had to test it and I was like, well, I will. So I did 10.
I'll do some geometry.
Is it trigonometry? Let's go. Basic algebra. So I'm wandering around the hotel resort. I'm not old enough to gamble. I'm not old enough to drink at this resort, but I'm obviously screwed up. And the security keeps asking me what I'm doing here. I'm like, I'm trying to find my parents. Like, I think they're here somewhere, you know. The fourth time I said that, the guy's like, you don't have parents. Like, something's wrong with you. What's going on? You know, like, so something's definitely, I don't know, alien, what's up? So I met this couple at the bar while I was just tranced out of my head. And the guy's like, well, why don't you come back to our hotel room and just hang out, you know, have a few drinks and chills out. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, sure, I'm waiting for my rod. He's supposed to be back in a couple hours, no problem. Go to the room, and the guy tries to basically sell me his wife. He's like, I want you to sleep with my wife while I sit in this chair and, you know, beat my shit like it owes me money. And I was like, I don't know what's wrong with that plan, but it seems a bit off to me. Like, something's weird about that. I'll have to think about it. He's like, well, have a few drinks and think about it. So the next morning, I'm finding my pants and accepting money from some guy leaving a hotel room. I'm like, am I a prostitute now? Like, is that how this is going? And security finds me in the hallways. Like, you found your parents? I'm like, yeah, they're in this room. Right?
I just fucked my mom.
Yeah, it was a weird night. I'm sorry. It's kind of odd. I have to go. And they're like, well, we've been hearing these weird noise complaints and stuff from the neighboring rooms. I'm like, yeah, I told you it was a bit weird and I have to go. So my ride is gone. He's like, the van and my buddies are long gone and the math books are gone. And all I have is the 4 sheets that I cut out for myself. 4 sheets. Just bear that in mind. That's 400 hits, right? And I decided I might need for whatever. And it turned out I did because I managed to sell 2 of them to get me ass home and make a few $100s on the process. But it was interesting, like wandering around the streets in fucking Niagara Falls, like, hey, wanna buy some acid? And the guy in the business suit's like, no. And I'm like, never know. Have a good day.
Is that what you were saying, or were you like, hey, you guys like math? You want to do some math?
I actually have no idea what I was saying. That's the problem. I was fucked. I got a lot of weird looks, and then eventually got a fistful of money and took a bus home.
That's epic.
But what was great is the fact that I'm walking out of the casino as the cops are walking into the casino, and I sort of nod at the cops like, y'all have a good day, and just disappeared behind them. And then the security guy's like, no, it was that giant guy. He just left. Like, we've been looking for this dude. It's kind of weird. Like, he's been in the hallway. He peed in a potted plant. Like, I think he lived on the second floor for 3 days. And I was like, just quickly down the street. And it's amazing. If you walk away with a purpose, looking like you know where you're going, most of the time, people don't stop you. They just don't. They're like, yeah, that guy's fine. Like, fuck.
I think he's the high school math teacher.
I think, why does he have all these math quizzes in his bag? Oh, well. I just like me some math trivia, okay?
You bought an entire Grateful Dead concert's worth of acid. That's impressive.
Close
as yep. You were what? You said you were in the U.S. side and you couldn't gamble, so you were under 21
yep.
at the time? 20,
right.
19, 20?
That's right.
Wow. That's some Breaking Bad level shit right there. That's going to be a good episode.
And crossing the border with, 400 plus hits on you, it's pretty crazy because that is a manslaughter charge. LSD is one of the few drugs, because it has strychnine in it as one of the cutting agents. Wow. They will charge you in the States specifically with manslaughter because you can, if you do it inappropriately and the mix is bad, it'll kill you. I mean, nowadays we don't seem to recognize that. I mean, apparently...
Yeah, fentanyl's fine.
All drugs can kill you now, which is why I don't know how I survived. Because, honestly, if the drug quality back then was as bad as it obviously is today, nobody I know would be alive. That's just statistically the way it is. I'm sorry. If drugs were that bad, then all the experimentation, all the fucking stupid shit that we did, we'd all be dead. There'd just be no way around it. I don't know where the hell we've gotten to, where it is okay for a dealer to sell literally just straight fucking poison to somebody with no repercussions for that. We had a guy downtown one time sold one bad batch of drugs to street kids, and he got beaten nearly to death because of that by like other dealers and street people who were like, yeah, you're going to sell poison to people? Let's have a little chat over here with these 12 guys. Whoops. Don't do that again. It just seems like there's no concern for anybody's human compassion or decency at all. I know that's kind of a stupid thing to talk about when you're talking about drug dealers, because there's always been guys who just sell poison to kids, like the whole heroin thing and the whole deal, right? But still, if you knowingly are killing your clients, what the fuck are you doing? First of all, it's a bad business model.
Bad for business, yeah.
And second of all, you're just a piece of shit as a human being. And I'll say that's all drug dealers out there. If you're selling fucking poison to kids, you're a piece of shit as a human being. Come see me.
Nice. Yeah, come see him. We're here every Monday at 9 Clarence Square, 1830. Come on down. We'll have a chat.
Yeah, not particularly worried either.
Right.
Shot it a few times, Palios.
Right.
Anyway, like I said, biggest drug I ever participated in. Crazy Girl Star ended up on, she was on like Geraldo a month and a half later as like this drug connection to the stars and stuff. Like she was some woman who sold cocaine to famous people and like did all this shit. It was the weirdest fucking thing. Because I'm like, I know that girl. And everyone's like, no, you don't. I'm like, yeah, I do. Actually, I met her once. And there's a picture of her like shitty car with the star license plate. She's pulling up in front. Yeah, I sell drugs to famous people. And this guy, apparently.
It'd be great if you were in the picture, just random.
Yeah, just like, although that, yeah.
Of all those sheets of acid, how many of those, like, they say don't get high on your own supply, but I feel like you did. How many of those do you think you did yourself?
I don't know. I can tell you this. My morning routine, if it gives you an idea, morning routine at the time was get up, put a pot of coffee on, grab a sheet off the coffee table, take a bite out of it like I was chewing tobacco, had this big wad like bubble gum in the corner of my mouth, being like... So 10, 15, sometimes more hits at a time.
Wow.
And I do that 2 or 3 times a day. So, yeah, I went through a lot of the stuff I was selling.
You want to know my life equivalent to that scenario? When I was up until about age 13, I was a 5-pin bowler. And every year to fundraise, we sold chocolate almonds. And I would get a case or two of chocolate almonds that I would have to sell to neighbors and family. But I fucking love chocolate almonds, so I would just crush my own chocolate almonds, and then I would end up owing like $40 to the bowling association because I got high on my own supply. That's the difference between our two lives here. You're just crushing acid, and I'm like indulging in a sweet treat from time to time.
To tell you the truth, when I finally quit doing acid, it took me 3 months to actually sober up. And I remember the day vividly. I was walking to the store to get a pack of smokes and some milk and shit, and I flipped right out. I freaked out. Things looked really weird. Everything was super weird, and I couldn't figure out what it was. Run to this fucking payphone. I call my girlfriend. I'm like, yo, I'm freaking out. I'm like a block and a half away from out. I'm freaking out. You might have to come and get me. I'm freaking out. She's like, well, what's going on? And I'm like, things look fucking weird. And she's like, what do you mean they look fucking weird? I'm looking around. I'm like, there's only like one of everything. Nothing's moving.
Right.
The colors are also. Oh, another weird little fact: LSD corrects red-green color blindness.
What?
Which I happen to have.
Colorblind. I also have that. Well, I guess we're doing LSD together.
First time I ever saw an amazing sunset. I'm telling you right now, LSD. It has because red-green color blindness is a brain deficiency where your ocular nerves and the rods, cones, etc. in your mind that process color don't function properly. LSD rewires brain function, so you use neural pathways that you weren't using before. And those fresh neural pathways don't have the same problems as the old ones. That's why you can like taste colors and things like this, right?
Wow.
But yes, so everything went weird. Colors all changed. I couldn't see any trails. Things were kind of fucked up. And then it suddenly dawned on me while I'm talking on the phone, describing the symptoms. I'm like, these are the symptoms of being sober for the first time in more than 8 months.
Out.
And I was like, no, I'm not freaking out. This is actually what not freaking out is like. That's fucking freaking me out.
Right.
So yeah, 3 months. Took me 3 months to stop being high on drugs because I did too many. I haven't done acid since because of that. That was one of those things. You had, just had to give it up.
Right. It's like the booze that you do too much and you get fucked up on it and you can't touch that booze.
Well, no, it's more than that. I know people who, again, acid does permanent shit to your brain, and you reach a certain critical mass, you've done too much of it or whatever, and you just don't come back from whatever the fuck is wrong with you. Like there's, I know a lot of people who are now just sort of permanently screwed up. They don't do drugs at all, but they're still like me, weirdos. They believe like the craziest things. They just hallucinate sometimes, and you've reached that point break. You've gone over the edge. And that's it.
What's the, can you describe like a super fucked up scenario or situation or feeling or visuals or?
It's all there. I mean, think about, walls melting, seeing things that aren't there, hearing voices, again, tasting colors.
This tiny fruit fly is here now.
Yeah, he's totally loving me off. I've been swatting at him for a while. But no, I mean, that's the thing. LSD is impossible to describe because it's a psychotropic hallucinogen. Everybody's experience on it is going to be based on their own capacity to handle that kind of thing. Like I've got a pretty controlled, fixated personality. I can say to myself, I am on powerful drugs and remember that. And so cardinal rules, like, no, you can't fly. Right? On the balcony, you're looking down, you see the ground coming. It looks like it comes real close, like it's a foot away, but you're 14 stories up. And you think, I can just step over the balcony railing. I'll be right there. No.
Never a
you
good
can't
idea.
Fly. Don't do it, right? Don't put small children into appliances, that kind of thing. All the horror stories you hear about come from people who forget the key fundamentals. And the key fundamentals are that don't believe what you see. What you read is not true. What someone says to you is probably insane because they're probably like you, high on drugs and insane. And where you are is going to have surprises in it, like stairs or
snakes.
Yeah. Dogs, doors. I'm actually an ophidiophobe, so that would be horrifying.
Say again?
I'm an ophidiophobe. That should be horrifying. I'm afraid of snakes.
Oh, yeah?
Terrified of them.
Wow.
Terrified. Yeah. Pull a shotgun on me, I'll laugh at you. But put a garter snake, I will run away.
You found his Achilles heel. It's snakes. I got bit by a boa constrictor. You know that? Yeah.
No.
I worked a summer at Reptilia Reptile Zoo in Vaughan as an Aussie reptile expert doing kids shows. And part of the show was I would pull out like a good size, either a python or a boa constrictor. And after summer, I started to get cockier and cockier. And I'm like, I'm going to get a bigger one. and they kind of had a wall of like Tupperware trays where they keep them. And a key with if you're handling snakes is you kind of want to block the head a little bit, like you sometimes have a stick and you like they need to feel that you're big like a tree, not like a little mouse. And I kind of daintily and hesitantly like reached in like I was a little trepidatious at this big boa, and it fucking like jumped at me, and like I was alone in a room with a bunch of snakes, and I was like, ah, ah, ah! But it bit my pinky. That's borderline pretty, like the least you could
Well,
get
this
bit.
sort of really pissed him off.
I was like,
my pinky!
I got bit in the pinky, but it was terrifying. I've been stung by a stingray and bit by a boa constrictor. I'm basically Steve
And
Irwin.
you didn't die.
Yeah, I'm alive.
You know what really, I'm sorry, you mentioned Steve Irwin, so I'm going to say this. You know what really pisses me off? The fact that you can't see the fucking footage of him getting killed. We sat there for fucking 15 years waiting for that motherfucker to stick his hand in a place it shouldn't belong and get bit. And what happens? He's swimming with fucking stingrays, gets stung directly in the heart, dies instantaneously, basically, and that's the one fucking video we can't watch? Fuck you.
The best episode ever.
That whole show was predicated on this guy going, "Right, this ought to really piss him off. Oh, grab this poisonous snake and stick it in my face. Look at this snake not biting me." And we're all like, "Bite him, bite him, bite him."
Yeah.
We all, and if you are lying to yourself and saying, "No, I just thought he was a naturalist," and fuck that. He's a crazy zoologist who grabs onto dangerous animals and goes, "Crikey, this one's fucking dangerous." And we all wanted to see him get bit. And the one fucking time it mattered, no, that's the video you can't see.
Because there's a conspiracy theory, man. He faked his own death. He's on an island with Biggie and Tupac and Elvis and the rest of them. You got tired of the spotlight.
No, I think it's because we got way too social fucking justice. Right. And we just can't see death on TV anymore.
We're going to flip to audience mic. We got Karim. I was thinking.
Yes, Karim.
Karim from Cifer Pics. And I said Karim.
It's Karim's alternative identity when he's dancing drag.
Karim, what's up?
No, I just wanted to weigh in on the whole snake thing because I do have my own snake.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I have my own snake too, but it scares me. Don't show it to me.
No, I mean like...
What kind of snake?
Ball python.
Okay.
It's about 3 feet. And I just wanted to say I haven't been bit ever. And I've had her for like nearly a year now. And the way what you described right now had me cringing the whole time.
Oh, I did the complete wrong thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was like, I slid it out and was like, okay, I'm just going to grab you, which it just sees this moving, and it's like,
you don't put your hand in front of this head of a snake.
No. Yeah.
That's one of the best way to get bit. Don't put your hand because... Sorry?
I'm sorry, I hate to say this. I've always thought this. What a stupid fucking pet.
It's not actually.
It's not a pet.
It's like I've got this thing in a box that I can look at sometimes. When I put my hand in front of its face, I'm fucked. You know what?
No.
That's like fish for assholes.
Yeah, I've been told something.
You just get to watch. Out of Venus flytrap. That's good enough for me. Okay, I feed it ants, and I'm like, look, I get to watch something killing something. I'm satisfied. Let's go to work. You know. I don't know, man.
They just get bigger and bigger. It's just waiting to get big enough.
And they start laying next to you and stretching out. We're like, oh, it's so cute. They're snuggling. No, they're measuring.
That's bullshit, actually. That is not proven.
No?
It is actually bullshit.
Well,
because,
I like that statistic. It makes sense to me.
Snakes don't eat something they can't kill. And they cannot kill and eat you. You actually don't fit. Actually, the only snakes that can actually eat a human being is an anaconda. And that's
the rock python got big enough for that sometimes.
No, that's very rare.
They can be like 18 feet, 19 feet. That's a pretty big snake.
Yeah, but like the issue with snakes is that they cannot actually fit their mouth around your shoulders.
Right.
And snakes eat head first.
Yeah.
So they can't get through. So they will actually try to kill. They will probably like try if they find your body, but they won't.
What about those kids that got strangled death by that big snake in Newfoundland last year?
Those are kids.
Yeah, exactly. Those are
kids.
A rock python can probably eat.
So I'm sorry, they'll just eat your kids.
Right.
Great
pets.
Also,
they can eat like goats and stuff.
In Canada specifically, you cannot own a snake that gets longer than 6 feet. Rock pythons get above 15 feet.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
Yeah, but you're child sized, love. Yeah, child sized. Digestible.
Yeah. But yeah, also another thing that you said is it's very funny because I grew up watching Steve Irwin. And one of the things I do on Thursday mornings is volunteer at a wildlife center.
Right.
So I'm always around shit like that, like snakes
Yeah.
and like things that try to bite me all the
But are you
fucking
the guy
time.
like grabbing a snake, sticking your finger up its asshole and be like, this ought to really piss it off, see if you can get really angry with you, and then not getting bit on TV and having the rest of us go, fuck! Watch another half-hour episode of this asshole poking snakes and you get bit in the face.
Yeah.
All I wanted to see. Sorry. Sorry, Steve Irwin's family. Much love, total respect. Put the video out there.
Yeah.
That's what I'm waiting for. You know it.
Well, there
Somebody
are
had a
other videos
GoPro.
out there. There's a video out there. It's not
They
actually
were
a
filming.
video.
They were filming when this happened. They weren't. The wife decided that this video is just too personal because it's the one time that we wanted to see him fucking with an animal. And no, but that one's too personal because he died, which is what we all fucking wanted. I mean, not necessarily dead, but bit. Seriously. I mean, who'd have thunk? Stung in the heart by a stingray. Like, what's the chance? Right in the heart. Like, what's the chance of that? Pretty crazy, right?
If it was a Mortal Kombat game, that was a flawless victory.
Yeah, I believe it. It's like Liu Kang the Stingray, you know, like
Stingray wins.
That's right.
Flawless victory.
That's right. Exactly. Yes. Exactly. Oh.
Audience mic. So this is part of the show where we toss it out there. You can ask a general question to Bob about what it's like to be a punk rock
Oh,
bouncer.
come on. You've
7-foot
got general
giant.
questions. I know you do.
You can share a fucked up mushroom story or a drug story.
Everyone's got general questions for me.
general
Come on.
alcohol issues.
Is this acne or did I scratch
Whatever you
myself? General questions. Just ask.
You can ask him about the cuckold situation when the husband paid him to do whatever he did to his wife, destroy his wife. That's an intense situation. He was like, he really delivered the goods, right? He like brings home a giant. That's like, that doesn't happen every day.
She's like, I wanted to do something spicy to our love life. He's like, hey, giant caliente. Let's bring this into the room. We'll see what happens here. Is this what you were looking for, babe? She's like, I don't know. Well, we're going to find out, aren't we? I have no idea. Like I said, I don't really remember.
Is it on?
There's a button on it. Try
There's
the
a button.
Yeah.
There you
It's
go.
on.
Hey,
now.
it's on now.
So you have done so much that we
Ooh.
haven't, that we would like to aspire to get into fun trouble.
Don't aspire.
What would you like to do to get into further and more trouble if you could get away with it if you weren't so clean?
Oh, man.
Wow.
If you could string theory like another version of yourself somewhere,
Well, actually,
what would you really
Extreme
like to
sports.
do?
I don't have the body for that. I've broken myself too badly, but I've always wanted to like do speed skiing naked or something insane like that, right? But I just can't. I can't. Like I immediately fall down and look really weird, like the fat naked guy lying on top of the hill, being like, "Oh, turn my ankle. I got to go back to the chalet." And they'd be like, "We're not driving you back to the chalet. You can just freeze on the mountain." But no, like stuff like that, like drive a race car really fast, or like make $1 million, like things that I just definitely can't do because I don't know shit about
we're
it.
gonna make $1 million. We're gonna take care of the make $1 million with this.
No, but that's
show.
the thing. Like I've done the stupid, obnoxious, like ruin your life train so hard that I'm really not entirely certain what to do with the skills that I have left. I'm like, well, shit. You know, like I'm a writer and I'm a lot of other things. I'm a carpenter and all this stuff. But it's like what I'm really good at is fucking my life up. Like I've got like a master class in like ruining my life. It's like amazing the things you can fuck up when you really put your mind to it, or absolutely don't, for that matter. So I've got the stories like you wouldn't believe, but that's kind of the legacy. It's like you have postcards from all these places that you used to be. And I meant that when I said places you used to be, and snapshots of people you can't remember being. And you can tell the stories and you can live vicariously through the past, but I think a lot of people do that anyway. I just did it more because it was like, a specialty skill. I was like, yeah, not only can I fuck up my life, I can probably fuck up your life too. Let's just like jump down the rabbit hole together and we'll see what happens. And I've been there a number of times. I mean, like me and my ex-wife are still really good friends, but the only reason that we're really good friends is because we were mature enough to say, this is not fucking going anywhere positive. and we should probably not be together before someone gets stabbed. Like, it's going to go there if we keep this up. Like, it's, you start seeing those signs in the morning, like a little bit of anthrax in the toothpaste and stuff, and you're like, yeah, I see what's up, right?
Right. It's really good self-awareness of the two of you.
Well, so I just don't know. I don't know what I'd rather do. I mean, not to quote Hunter S. Thompson, but I will. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll. It doesn't work for everybody, but it's always worked for me okay. So I've given it a go, and that's just been it. It's like, well, yeah. I mean, I still work in booze cans. I'm still that guy. I still probably party harder than I should because I don't really know how not to do that. And every day is sort of a maturing moment of like, wait a second. Like, I'm trying to publish some writing. And I call people and they're like, Bob, you're not writing about drugs. I'm like, yeah, I know I'm not writing about drugs. I don't want to write about drugs. I've lived that. Come on now. Let's talk about stuff or something. Good
for you.
Right?
Yeah.
And again, I don't regret. I don't regret my life at all, actually, because frankly, it was a blast. I mean, like I lived. It
is a blast.
Right, but I'm saying I lived and I still live, and I refuse to admit that it's ever going to end. So party hard, pull the chain, right? But some people say, clean up, get a real job, change your life. Well, what's a real job, and how do you change your life? And most of the guys I know have real jobs aren't clean, so fuck you. You know what I mean? Like, they're the guys buying the drugs that I'm selling them. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, it's an interesting question. I don't know what I would do.
Naked luge.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah, speed skiing. Yeah. Own more firearms, maybe? I don't know. Since I don't own any, it'd be fun. I haven't shot guns in a long time.
Have a tutu collection.
Have a tutu
collection.
Again,
I think he needs a tutu.
That predicates, once again, the money. Because you have to find someone to custom make a size 44 fucking tutu, and that's just not going to happen in the regular market, okay?
I'm sure the guy who paid you to fuck his wife could buy you a tutu.
We just had an audience member threaten to make me a tutu. That's amazing, because if you make it, darling, just like they say in the movies, if you make it, I'll wear it.
Next Monday. I think that's a good one.
If you turn up with a tutu in my size, I'm not even joking. I will put that shit on. I'm not even kidding. That's a fact. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're tuning in to next week's show, you may very well find me wearing an extraordinarily large fucking tutu, and that's awesome.
That's the reason to come down here at 18:30 every Monday.
Yeah, I'll double the live audience if that's going to happen.
Catch the studio audience. See Bob in a tutu. We should probably wrap it up there. This has been pretty good show. I like it.
Hey, just you and I here behind the mics of steel. But you know what?
We did it.
Awesome, brother.
We did it.
In other words, Trev, we wish you were back, but we don't need you.
Trev, we do need you. Come back, Trevor. Come back, Trevor. Although you're being a great son. Make sure to hit us up at 39DD Show on Instagram. You can watch episodes with video on YouTube. You can come see us live here at 1830 Bar, downtown Toronto.
Absolutely. Come on down.
Keep listening and maybe do more mushrooms, I guess, is the lesson. I don't know.
Be good to each other and be wacky. All
right. Be wacky.
We love you. Have a good night.
Bye. No, you hang up. No, you hang up.
No, you first. I love you more.
Okay. No, I love you more.
No, I love you more.
No, okay.
All right. Please cut us.
And hang up.